Hi, I'm Diane Dressback, and I have Kimber Lee with me today, and we are interviewing Eva Louis. And Eva is a chapter writer in the compilation book From Us for You, Inspiring Stories of Healing, Growth, and Transformation. So thanks for being with us today, Eva.
Hey, well, thanks for having me, and I'm super excited to be here. And you wanted me to say a little bit about myself, right?
Yes, please,
Okay.
please go right in.
Yeah. So what I love first, I have to say about Diane is that I've been following you in the industry forever, and for as long as I've been, here. And as a writer myself, I've always appreciated the fact that you're willing to take the time, develop these amazing stories, and then put them out there, but then also encourage other writers. So thank you for this opportunity to be part of your project. Myself personally, I've been writing since I was very young, because I picked that up as one of my coping mechanisms for when I was dealing with stuff. So in high school, I had a very amazing literature teacher that inspired me, and she really helped me develop kind of what I needed to do with writing. So for me, that's where I come from as a writer. And then in my other side of life, I'm a filmmaker and an ITV.
Okay. And I think that's where I probably met you, was in the filmmaking side of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I know that you're into all kinds of things with fashion
Yes.
and,
Yeah.
like you said, IT and film and
Mhm.
writing. And so you're busy.
Yes.
So what is it? It's IT.
I'm in information technology. So right
Okay.
now, I currently do software asset management, but I've worked in basically everything from floor to ceiling in IT environments, like Fortune 100 companies, global, and help them develop kind of whatever space I'm working in. So if it's hardware or services, I'm working with consultants. We're building out data centers. And then right now, my subject matter expertise for my entire career has been software asset management, which nobody knows what that is. But the simplest way to explain it is you have a computer, all the software that's on there, and then all of the systems that operate your computer if you're in a business, so like the whole network, whatever you connect to, basically like the World Wide Web. Everything that supports that, that's what I've had management responsibility for. And software licensing runs on everything. You can't run any hardware or device without software. So that's currently what I manage, and I love it because it's a highly complex, very unique, specialized field that has another language that most people don't know.
Wow, that is just, Diane, you have picked some pretty strong, amazing women for your book. This is so awesome.
Yes.
If I were to, I can't, first of all, I can't wait to read your chapter. I can't wait to read this book, because interviewing these women, everyone is more awesome than the other one. It'd be very difficult to pick whose story is the most amazing. But if you were to give an elevator pitch of your chapter, what would it be?
I think as an individual, and especially I would point this towards young adults. Being an adult is difficult, but being young and becoming an adult is way more difficult, I think, because you're trying to find yourself. And sometimes you just don't have always the right people to talk to. So then you have to really figure out how to do that yourself. And so that's what my chapter talks about, is being open to that way of being able to find yourself and to stay the course into your adulthood and maturity.
So for a young individual that picks up the book, reads your chapter, and a chapter is just a little sliver of the information that they could garner from you, what would, in listening to this interview, what would you say to a youngster out there of how to overcome a large struggle, like overcoming the transition from child to adult?
There's a lot of introspection, I think, in really as a young adult or a young, like somebody in high school. You really have to look at yourself, and even though you're not fully mature, your brain's not working 100%, you still have to find those things that you can be solid with. Like, what is your real core for yourself? So what are the things that you absolutely love? And I would start there. Start with that. And then don't worry about the things that you don't love, actually. Don't worry about all the things that everybody says that you shouldn't do. Do them. Do the things that you actually want to do, because that's your chance to do it and to make mistakes and to fail and to learn from them. So I think that's how I would start somebody off.
Yes.
That's good advice for all of us, actually.
Yeah.
That is very, very true. And it's so scary to be. I think one of the things that the youth doesn't understand is I'm a mom, I'm a grandma, and they think because you're this older adult that you have all the answers, but you are also still searching in life for your own self-discovery. And so to the youth out there, don't be afraid, right?
No.
And what would you tell them the key to life is?
Oh, I mean, both my kids, I just told them to really do what you love. I live a life of passion. Everything I've done since I was young was about following my passion. And it's 100% the number one thing that you can do that will make you survive through the most difficult times. And it's not about that you're doing your passion is easy, that it's fun, that it isn't hard work, that you don't have to sacrifice. That's not what that means. And a lot of people mistake it that if you do your passion, you're only doing what you love 100%, in the fact that it's all fun and games and it's, you don't have to, have hard things to deal with. That's not the case at all. It's actually even harder to do your passion. So for me, I feel very much like I've said before that I've been called an anomaly. And a lot of the reason why is because I am so set in this belief system that I have for myself, that I created and that I designed, that I want to say, I don't really care what anybody thinks about how I live my life, because I am sure, and I am absolutely positive, I am doing what I'm supposed to do. And that level of confidence scares the heck out of people because they're intimidated, because they've never met anybody that had such a force of confidence, I guess is what I would say. But I encourage people and I help people build up their confidence through a lot of the coaching that I do. And I start with kids because that's the group that you can influence the most, and they have the longest time to be able to apply everything you could teach. So
Right.
yeah, I love working with youth and inspiring them from that perspective, because they actually need to see adults that are confident and doing what they love and believing in their belief system, because they don't get a lot of that if they're watching television, or, they maybe don't have the best set of circumstances they're in. So that's part of my process of how I deal with people. Is I'm a full force that gets in their way and doesn't let them have very many options, except for being positive and confident and, pursuing their passion.
Right, especially the confidence, because when you're young, that's the one thing that you're lacking, unless you've had such a superior upbringing that that's not an obstacle for you. But for many, it's just life. It's the lack of the conviction of where I'm going and how I look and what my choices look like.
Right.
So I commend you too for that, for taking the youth and rising them up. And where do you see yourself 5 years from now with the program that you're in? What does that look like for you?
It looks large. I've had every year, I always think, how is next year going to be different and change? And I know for a lot of people, 2020 was a very challenging year, but it was actually the year that I kicked off the major role that I have with one of the companies that I work with now. And I got really, from January to December, it was a full year of doing things that for this company that they had never done before. And I got to roll out this whole program, do an overview in December, and it was super amazing. But that was, and so for me, that was like, oh yeah, this was great. This was my 2020, which is totally opposite of a lot of people. But I had that opportunity. So I'm one that doesn't waste those. And I'm always about sharing with other people. So in 2021, I'm a 2-year planner. So I have an 18-month rolling plan, and then I have 2 years planned out, literally. So in January, already had 2 years planned out. And I had people that were wanting to meet with me. So everything that I've been doing has really just been literally exploding. And, and so I'm just like, all right, well, in 5 years, if I keep going at the rate I am, I'm going to be probably in a bigger organization of my own with more employees than where I'm at right now. And that's already growing, and with more film projects because that's exploding. So yeah, that's where I see myself in 5 years, is everything is bigger and more.
So you're
That's
going to
awesome.
be a force to be reckoned with, huh, Diane?
Absolutely, absolutely. So with all of this, this force and this moving forward and being busy. So one of the things you had mentioned
Yeah.
uh, in your chapter is being 100% open to resting and finding
Yes.
solace.
Mhm.
So I'm curious on how you do that. What kind of methods do you use? I mean, and share that a
Well,
little bit.
meditation is huge in my life. I've studied metaphysical, energy and all the things around that. I'm a very spiritual person, and I'm a healer from the standpoint of an energy worker. So I work with manifestation. And so all of those tools are kind of at my, I have them everywhere around me all the time because I've built my life system to enable that. Now, I do have a very rigorous schedule, as you noted, that I'm super busy, but it's really because I have so many things that are in a structured environment. And so I have people that I serve and work with, and, so I need to show up for them. However, what I've allowed myself to be able to do with not only meditation and resting is that we always have this fear of not, of, I guess, taking care of ourselves and not letting somebody else into our life, right? Because we're taking care of ourselves, right? We're, kind of trying to separate that. And what I've learned is, for me personally, I really do have to separate myself off from others in order to have that space. So I will say 2020 also enabled me to do that. Because now I'm working from home 100%. So I don't have to go to an office. I don't have to do anything. So for me, my rest is easy because I have everything is set up so that I can rest. And physically, I have a lot of chronic illnesses because of some injuries that were from a car accident. So I have chronic pain 24/7. So if I don't rest, that literally will impact my ability to be able to do things. So I have to rest. What people see, they don't see me resting, but I am, because I have a minimum requirement I have to do every day. But also because I'm, let me think, since I was in junior high, I pretty much could operate off of 4 hours of sleep. My mom is a busybody. My dad is a busybody. It kind of runs in my family. My kids, none of us sleep like long hours at all. We've always slept short. So my ability to rest is a lot different than other people, but I still rest. And it's, through normal ways, sleeping, but meditation is a big one.
So what are you working on any film right now?
Yes,
Because
I have. I actually have a feature film that we're in post-production on. It's taken a little bit longer than we wanted because of COVID obviously affected our finishing pieces for that, but that one's a drama feature film. I directed that, and I have really huge cast for that one, and that was all filmed in Arizona, so I was super excited about that one. And then this year I was brought on to direct another feature film that's not mine, and that one will be I don't want to say it's a dramedy, it's a melodrama, but it's got it does have some. It's basically a faith-based film. I guess I would say it's more like that. And then I have a documentary feature that I'm working on as well. So we're just in pre-development right now with that one. And so those are the big ones. And then I have a lot of short films that we're editing and that we have already slated for filming. So.
do you encourage the youth to get into film?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I made my son be a starring character in one of my short films.
Very good. And you and Diane have a lot in common with that genre. Right,
Yeah.
Diane?
That's right.
Mhm.
Using the kids and
Oh,
the
yeah.
family
I
involved. It's
mean, they're
so
the
fun.
future. They're the future. And to me, it's what a better way to spend time, and just, I mean, there's so many good things about, if you run a good set and if you can write great stories and how you can integrate and kind of change the landscape of what you see, on television today. And, being a writer, we have that ability, I think, to be able to change that and then to work and shape those stories as storytellers. I mean, for me, that's it, is I'm a visual storyteller. And what I love to do is to bring the realization of somebody's words to life on screen. That is really my ultimate goal with what I do as a filmmaker. And I mean, I thoroughly love the entire process, and it's hard, but I love every aspect of it. And I've learned so much throughout, my tenure of doing this. It's just, I want to learn more. So,
And have you learned more through your successes or your failures?
yes, absolutely. I have definitely learned things that you don't want to do. But what I've also learned even through that, you've learned things that you don't want to do, but it's not because they were bad. It's just because they were harder. And so what I've learned a lot is how to use the resources that you have more efficiently and effectively. You don't have to spend, money on bigger, better equipment. You have to be smarter about how you use the equipment you have. And then, man, eBay is great for finding amazing lenses for cameras. So I'm just going to say this right now. I have my lens game for myself personally. I love all my lenses, and I can always get more because there's never enough lenses. And if you know how to use them, you can be totally dangerous with it. And I love that.
Well, my hat's off to you because I know nothing about lenses except look in it. That's it. I look in it. That's what I do.
So you are also in the fashion industry a little bit. So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about that.
Oh gosh. Well, I remember when I was, I think it was after I got out to Arizona. I always remember my family telling me when The Devil Wears Prada, that movie came out, that I really needed to watch that. And I was like, no, I don't need to watch that. I don't understand why you guys want me to watch this, because I wasn't as heavy into it at that time when that came out. So finally, I got to watch that film, and I laughed super hard because I actually wrote for Project Runway magazine. And so when I was seeing how this whole thing was coming to fruition for, the lead character, the editor, and then Anne Hathaway in her role, I laughed because I said, I have really been in the fashion industry a lot because of my mom, because she sewed and she still sews, but she's kind of gotten out of it now. But she taught me everything I know about fashion initially because she taught me how to sew. And she sewed tons of things. So I always grew up with having sewing machines and fabric and, just everything you would have in a normal sewing machine. And she has a huge one in the Midwest now where she's at. But when I saw that film, and that kind of, it really brought it to me that I've actually been since high school really heavily into fashion, because in high school, I remember directing a play and we had to come to our opening night and everything. And what I wore was like something you would wear off of Saks Fifth Avenue. And I was in high school and everybody's like, who is this person? And I was like, oh, and that's when I realized my sense of style was completely way different, more mature, very European based than people in the Midwest and Kansas, where we're on farms. So I was always the oddball. I always was out of place because I had this New York sense of style for like since I was little because of my mom, because she was very chic. And I remember like kind of the time of John F. Kennedy, Jacqueline Onassis, my mom could totally work it like her. So yeah, so that was my influences into it. And that's how I got started. I moved out to Arizona, found Phoenix Fashion Week, and then it's been history. I've been working with them since 2011.
Wow.
And yeah, and I mean, in front of the scenes, behind the scenes, every aspect of Phoenix Fashion Week, I love And I work with designers from all over the world, and I have a large listing because I've interviewed them and been part of a lot of different shows. And so, yeah, it's kind of like I always tell people, I can't breathe without film or fashion. So it's just part of my lifeblood. And everybody knows when they see me on the red carpet, I'm going to be wearing a designer dress or gown or something.
With a little bit of suspenders. Come on.
Oh.
You can put it on your gown or your purse. Bring your roots with you.
For sure.
That's funny. Okay, so I have one last question for you.
Okay.
And that is, while you were writing your chapter for our book, our compilation book, can you think of one thing that you learned about yourself or you discovered about yourself while you were writing that?
It was this particular book and this chapter that I wrote for me. I really realized how vulnerable I was with this particular story, because I hadn't really told that story 100% before, not from the beginning. And when I read, kind of the finalized chapter as it came back to me, I was kind of blown away at how moved I was by my own words. And I was like, this is like, I'd never had that experience before. And I've written a lot of things, but just the feeling that I was overcome with when I was reading it. And I was like, no, this is truly from within. This is my heart. This is a message that I feel like others, if they read it and they read it for their story instead of like it was my story, that they're going to feel something in that will cause them to change and realize the power that they have within themselves. And I think, to me, that was really the realization. I did not know coming into this, that's what it was going to be. So that's what I learned.
That's pretty profound, right, Diane?
Yeah. I'm so happy that first of all, that you agreed to find time to be able to write a chapter in the book, and that you shared what you did. It was a very personal journey, and that it was rewarding for you. That's that's awesome.
Yeah, I have to say it's been, and I've been blessed with my experience as a writer. I've had such amazing people that I've worked with, so it only gets better. So thank you for being the newest one that's helped make it even more better.
Well, thank you so much, and I can't wait to share your chapter along with everybody's chapters.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see the other authors and to read their pieces. And yeah, I think this is going to be a really impactful and powerful book.
Well, that is my goal. That is what I want to happen, and I think with all of the writers in there, I think they want the same thing, because they're wanting to share their story to help other people. So,
yeah.
So thank you for being with us today and interviewing with us. Really appreciate it, Eva, and thank you for watching. If you would like to share the interview, feel free to do that. And also, if you'd like more information about the book project, if you just go to FromUsForYou.com, and you can find out all the details there. So it's been fun, ladies. We will see you later. And thank you for watching. Make it a very hopeful day.